Hi, Kat Chancellor here with Stamp Art Connection and stampartconnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I want to show you this card. This is a special tutorial. It's called the Venetian card. Look at that. You just pull that, and it reveals this. Isn't that just pretty? It just reveals your sentiment and an image underneath this Venetian shade that's made up of DSP. Okay, we're going to put this together, and I'm using a piece of just plain cardstock. I have a piece of DSP that's going to be our Venetian, but I'm going to do something different because I'm going to use the HIPPIST of HIPPOS, and this is a celebration stamp set that is under the new Celebrations with the Mini catalog. And here is the new mini catalog here. So when you purchase from the mini catalog, you get free gifts. And one of the free gifts under celebrations is this HIPPIST of HIPPOS. But additionally, you can get these HIPPO dies. So I'm going to also use a couple of these HIPPO dies. And these dies are just everything. You can just accessorize this little hippo. I'm going to use this umbrella, these flower dies, and I'm using my magnetic mat. Now, this magnetic mat is on my favorite products link. So here is this base card, and the base card is just going to be 5.5 by 4 1/4, and then you're going to cut a piece of Whisper White. And we're going to cut that. It's going to be cut to layer underneath. So we're going to have a layer underneath this. And this is going to be cut at 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that now. 5 1/4 by 4. So we have our base card, 5 1/4 by 4, and then a piece of DSP. Now the DSP is from the 2021-2023 in color. It's 6 by 6, and the colors here are polished pink. So I'm just using a pink background here. But these are basically the layers that you have. You're also going to need some ribbon. You're going to need a hole punch, and then you're also going to need your scoreboard to score your Venetian blinds. Okay, and I'm using this ribbon is the white glittered organza ribbon. I like it. It's a little stiff to work with, but I think it adds a nice nice touch. Okay, so let's go ahead and put all these aside. Additionally, I'm using one of these mini embossing folders. And what I want to do is, because I'm going to use my hippo, I'm going to stamp this hippo here, and I kind of want her to float, and I want to create a nice background. So I'm going to use an embossing folder on this white piece to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So our HIPPIST HIPPO has already been colored using our stamping blends, and I've also cut out some embellishments using the HIPPO dies that come with celebrations. I'm using a base card of petal pink, and that is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and a basic white piece that's 5 1/4 by 4 that's been embossed with a mini embossing folder. I'm going to set those aside because I need a piece of DSP for our Venetian blind that's 5 1/4 by 4. Put it on your scoreboard alongside, and you're going to score across the top at a 1/2 inch all the way across. When you do this, you're going to have one edge is going to be a 1/4 inch, and that is going to be your top. So now go ahead and accordion fold the blind. starting at the bottom, and use your bone folder to make sure that you have some very crisp folds. Then open up the cardstock, your DSP. Here I'm going to lay it on my media mat, and I'm going to measure 1/4 inch from the edge. This is where your guideline for your circle punch, so that you can keep all your circles are going to line up straight for your Venetian blind. And here I'm just simply using a pencil. I'm going to do that on both sides. Now you can also use your scoreboard and lightly score it if you want, but I'm simply just using a pencil line. Now your first punch is the most important punch for the Venetian blind, because that is going to be the pattern that you're going to use to follow every sequential fold as you go up the blind. You're simply going to fold it and follow the pattern of that hole. Now don't get the circle punch too close to your fold on your Venetian blind, because eventually that can wear, and that will the ribbon will just break through the cardstock. So be very careful to ensure that you do that first punch is as far away from your Venetian blind fold as possible. It may take a little bit of practice. I've made several of these before I made the video. Now for the top, I'm using that 1/4 inch edge of my Venetian blind. I'm going to add that to the top of my background piece. I'm just erasing some of my pencil lines that I use as guides, and it's going to go on my base card. Now before I do that, I want to go ahead and adhere it to my base card. I'm using tear tape on the corners, and to ensure that I have the best adhesion as possible. And I'm also using my liquid fusion glue. This is available on my online store. The link is below, because this actually gives the your base card a little bit of stiffness. Now I'm just simply marking the holes where I'm going to punch my holes in my base card, and I'm going to start lacing. Now I'm using a perfect ribbon for this project. It's a very soft ribbon. You simply fold up the Venetian blinds and then just lace the ribbon up one side and down the other, and make sure that you have enough to go to the back. You go through the bottom, and while you're doing this, you're just simply going to make sure that your ribbon is aligned. Go across the bottom, up through and back over through the top again, so that you create the two edges. Now I'm going to demonstrate another technique for lacing this Venetian blind that is much easier, because here you can see that I have not cut the ribbon from the spool, and this makes it a little bit harder to manage. So I did another card, and I'm going to show you that technique, which is a lot easier here in a shortly. Okay, so there you go. I've laced the ribbons. The edges of this particular ribbon, because this ribbon frays, should be knotted. So make sure that you have enough ribbon to kind of knot the edges of your ribbon. But it does pull up nicely, and this is perfect ribbon because it's very, very soft. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Now I'm going to add my embellishments to my background using my my HIPPIST HIPPO. I do not want to use any dimensionals, but you can if you want to. It can interrupt the flow of the Venetian blind. So that's pretty much your choice. I chose not to. I wanted to keep any of the either the sentiment that I'm adding or the embellishments, the HIPPIST HIPPO image. I wanted that flat on my card so that it wouldn't impede the movement of the Venetian blind. I'm also going to add a couple little flowers that have all been cut out of the DSP so everything coordinates nicely. I think the ribbon is soft seafoam, and I kind of wanted to add that nice color with the sentiment. I am using a graphic marker here to just kind of make the sentiment kind of stick out a little bit. And again, this marker is available on my online store as part of my favorite products. And there you go. Now for the outside, because I thought it was kind of plain, I wanted to add some sequins. This is the For Everything Fancy sequence. It's in the annual catalog. You get 3 nice pots of different colors. You get a green, a pink, and a blue. Here I'm using the green and the pink, and my fine tip glue works perfectly for just kind of putting the sequins, adhering the sequins, and using my jewel picker. This is another product that's available on my online store as part of my favorite products. It simply picks up the sequins very easily. I'm using pink as my first layer. I'm just kind of getting the pink in line, and then I'm going to use the green to kind of pick up the color of the green ribbon so that I kind of balance my colors a little bit. Again, using my fine tip glue with just a dab will adhere these really nicely, and it's very easy work, and it makes a stunning card. Everything goes quickly using my jewel picker, and there you go. Now I want to switch over and give you another example using the Wonderful World stamp and designer series paper that is all available in Celebrations. It's a free product. I created a medallion using the iris, and I'm using the DSP as my Venetian blind and Orchid Oasis as my base card, Basic White as our background card, and I've also using the layering ovals to create that really pretty medallion that's going to sit in the middle. Now to begin with, we're going to use the tear tape. Again, we're going to adhere our background to our base card of Orchid Oasis. This is a new in color that's available now. I'm using the Liquid Fusion to make sure it gives me a little bit more stiffness for this particular project. And then this is the DSP. I'm using the other side. I made 2 cards using this DSP, so I'm using the opposite side for my Venetian blind, adhering that to the top. And now I'm just simply bringing down the Venetian blind piece and lining it up to the bottom and cutting, punching our 2 circles. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, it's a lot easier if you just go ahead and add any sentiments that you want straight away before you start lacing your Venetian blind, because otherwise you just have all the ribbons in the way. And I say this only because these are like my my fourth and fifth card that I've made. I'm also kind of putting some additional sentiments. You are the nicest, stay wonderful, on my card as kind of a nice sentiment when you bring up the Venetian blind. Now we're going to lace this, and I'm using that glittered organza. This is a very stiff ribbon. It really makes a nice video, but I will tell you that after I've played with these cards a couple of times, that ribbon, it was like an emery board and it cut through my cardstock. So I do not recommend it. I would use the much softer ribbon that I used in the previous project. But you just go ahead and this is 36 inches. I creased it at the center, and I'm going to show you where the center of this ribbon must be placed so that the ribbon comes out perfectly. Goes up and around, across the back. Across the back is where you want that center crease. If you want to mark it, the center mark right there in the middle, and go ahead and lace it across the back. There it is. I'm showing you where that crease is. I like to pull the accordions together. It goes up and back over, across, and down the other side, and that is what creates your two ribbon edges right there. And there is your Venetian blind. Now, just to repeat, your card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm using Orchid or Aces here. Your background, I'm using Whisper White, or rather basic white, and then your DSP for the Venetian blind is the Wonderful World DSP that comes out of Celebrations. Score your DSP at 1/2 inch increments. Your ribbon is 36 inches. Fold in half and then crease to mark the middle. Now you get about 10 yards in a spool, so you have plenty of ribbon for this kind of project. So there you go. You have all the different versions that I've created. If you notice that you just kind of roll the Venetian blind up and then tie the ribbon, that is how you can display it. I would recommend the softer ribbon for putting this card together. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like and share. And all the products are available on my online store. There are links below. Go to my blog for project details and visit my favorite project for links to purchase tools such as the magnetic mat. I'd be happy to be your demonstrator, or if you joined as a hobbyist, you get a 20% discount and personal attention from me. Thank you again, and happy stamping.